All right. Welcome back to Boys of 161st Street, episode 211. Today is June 27th. We're recording this episode on a Monday before the first game of the Athletics series. We are recapping the Astros series that just happened. There was 4 games. The Yankees split them, but it didn't quite feel like it at times. At some points, it felt like we, swept them with all the walk-off situations. 2 walk-offs, both by Judge in this series. And we also, on the flip side of the coin, we're no hit for 55 straight innings. So just about as flippity-floppity as a series can be. One of the more exciting series of the season.
55 straight innings, huh?
Yeah, I was going to say, that doesn't seem right.
55 outs.
Outs, my bad. Whoops.
I think you said innings when we were talking off air. I think that's why we got messed up.
I definitely said outs. That's.
I also heard innings, so
incorrect.
Unless both of us are crazy, which could be a possibility.
Very well could be the case. Regardless, it's 55 outs straight. There
Still
are
not
27
good.
outs in one single game. That is over a full game. Not good. The Yankees couldn't hit anything until Stanton got that home run. And then safe to say they figured it out because they Mr. Aaron Judge got a second walk-off of the series, third of the season, which... I saw some, again, this is just going to how we're going to open up episodes. What records are we talking about this week? Aaron Judge, what was it? Third walk-off hit this season. That's the most in the MLB currently. And then in terms of Yankees walk-offs, his 3 walk-offs are the most by a Yankees player in a season since 2009 when the Milkman did it. So,
wow.
Also, the Yankees... How many, what is it, 10 this season? Or sorry, how many this season? Whatever it is this season is the most through before July since 2000 this season.
Most walk-offs?
Yep.
Wow.
I like that.
Now I can't remember how many.
One funny thing on the walk-off thing, we were talking about this before we got on the air. I was like, we were just watching the highlights of the Judge walk-off and the other walk-off by Judge, both against the Astros. I was like, all these walk-offs, they're at Yankee Stadium. The crowd's really getting a treat. You know what I mean? And then
here's another stat.
Hold on, Damon just informed me that walk-offs can only happen when you have last licks. So that's why they've all been at Yankee Stadium. So that was a minor blunder in my
Hey, we had
brain.
long days of work.
We all had long days.
So, working young men.
Did have long days.
What's the stat?
Aaron Judge, first player in MLB history to have 2 3-run home run walk-offs before July, not including grand slams.
That sounds like such a stat that's like, when the grass is cut 3 inches short on a random on the second Tuesday of August.
You remember the old Tim Kirkjian stats that they used to have? I think it was Tim Kirkjian on Baseball Tonight. That sounds like one of those stats. Do you remember those? He always had those random. You don't remember those? It was like a huge internet joke for a long time. This guy had the most triples on August 3rd wearing stirrups.
Were they satire? Or was
no, it was real. He always had these weird ass stats. It was it was literally on Baseball Tonight every night. Break out it was so weird.
They just had one intern that was going crazy. Trying to find
he was digging into the fucking depths of baseball to find these. It's the first time since I don't even know. But I was gonna come up with something, but I couldn't think of it on the fly. So now here we are. But
here we are.
It's a fun series though.
Yeah.
I would say that was the best series of the year so far, at least just from a pure entertainment standpoint. Obviously there's a lot of positives, but there was a lot of things that kind of got exposed, which is not good. But as far as pure entertainment goes, that was the best series of the year. That felt like a playoff series. Even the 1:30 kickoffs, on a Saturday and a Sunday felt like playoff games.
Yeah, it's the 2 best teams in the AL right now.
2 best teams in baseball right now, according to the power rankings.
You just know we're going to run into them in the postseason. There's no way we get lucky enough to avoid them. So, good preview, definitely.
It is funny when you look at this team and you thought about it before the season started. This felt like the year that the Astros were kind of going to get ridden off a little bit. This is the first year when we were talking about our preseason rankings. I was saying is this the year the Angels can actually win this thing? The Mariners were supposed to be good early on. The Athletics didn't look great, but we thought they were going to moneyball it again. They're clearly not. And the Rangers just signed Corey Seager and Marcus Semien. So like it seemed like a loaded AL West, and the Angels are still they're playing good baseball, although they dropped like 55 in a row.
Yeah, that 12-game losing streak didn't help out.
No,
but this felt like the first season that like. They don't have Springer. They don't have Garrett Cole. Obviously, this is a few years removed now, but like
they've lost that entire core.
They lost the entire core.
Other than Bregman and Altuve.
Springer.
Exactly, and
Cole.
Lance McCullers is still there, I guess, but he's
Alvarez.
not a part of that. Yeah, Alvarez is still there, but he's that core aside from Altuve is
and Bregman.
And Bregman is gone.
But Bregman's regressed and Altuve's getting older, so it's just I don't know. It's a completely different team.
It felt that way, and then they get Pena is playing unbelievable. Kyle Tucker's a very good player in right field, like all these things. So they're just going to be a thorn in our side again. And I do have a feeling like we're going to run into them. Something that I felt, obviously, you don't feel great after being no hit for 55 outs, but I do feel like, and I'm happy we came away with a split in the series because it did feel like at times that we were kind of getting dominated. But we were being. It felt like a split. It doesn't feel like we split.
We're two magical innings away
to
from
get away with a split. In that
no,
series,
we're
based on how things were going.
We're literally two incredible, maybe three incredible innings away from being swept, which is scary. Yeah. That's not.
But also a testament to how this team is different in late innings.
Yes, but that's not. You can't rely on that. No, that's not
obviously not. I'm not going to rely on us coming back to the ninth every single game. But I'm just saying it's taking positives away from a potential terrible series.
There's all kinds of positives. I agree.
Yes, I'm taking away some positives. Is that walking it off against the Astros at home, pretty fucking cool.
I'm just saying this is yes. There's a lot of good feelings, and it feels good to split. Which say what you want, but a split against the second best team in the AL. Arguably the best, feels good, and that's a good. And it was coming off a stretch against the Rays.
Whoa!
Didn't know this was an Astros.
Coming off a stretch against the Rays and the Blue Jays, and I think we were 13 games against the Rays, the Blue Jays, and the Astros. So, you know what? Splitting that series is a good thing. But on the flip side of that, I will say that's the most uneasy I felt, and that's a testament to how good the team's been, that this is the most uneasy I've felt coming off a series since we were 6-6. So
yeah, but I also feel like going back to a few episodes ago when we were preparing for the stretch of games that we were about to face the Rays, we were about to face the Astros, Blue Jays too. We were all just like, we have a very, very, very tough stretch of games coming up, and we all agreed, hey, if we split these games, we're happy. And this is the first time we've really
we were 9-4. That's not bad.
Yeah. Yep. And that's again more than we were asking for going into this.
What's our record against teams over 500? Like 24-11, something like that, which is by far the best in baseball.
Don't know if that sounds good.
It's somewhere in that general vicinity, but it's by far the best in baseball, which is another, the knock on the team from people that aren't Yankees fans, like, yeah, do it against a good team. Well, there you go. Yeah, I mean, they split against the Astros, which say what you want, but they're beating good teams. They swept the Rays. They beat them 2 out of 3 again the week after. They're beating the Blue Jays. They're beating the teams that they're supposed to beat, but they're also beating the good teams, the teams above 500, whatever. So, I don't know. I'm happy with 9-4. I know that.
I'm very happy.
Happy with that as well. You want to get into hot or not?
If you want to.
We missed out on Hot or Not last episode. I think we were more focused on getting the episode out. We did it at 6 a.m. before we all started. I was traveling in the Hamptons.
It was a flu game for me.
It was a flu game for Chandler. So we didn't really think about it. But beauty of it is we can do it on the next episode, and we have new information now. And I feel like this is a better episode to do it on, considering we're coming off a series that was a little more wishy-washy and less just Yankees dominating, which has, as podcasters, is way harder than you'd think it is to talk about a team that's ridiculously good and seemingly has no flaws, because there's nothing really to talk about when they are just continuing to dominate. So thank you, Astros, for giving us some stuff to talk about, because
thanks for beating us. We now have some good content.
Hasn't really happened much this season. So we're just starting off with Hot or Not. This is presented by Underdog Fantasy. Who wants to do the hots? Who wants to do the nots? Damon, do you want to read the ad? Keep the lights on here.
I'd love to.
Okay.
Chatting with the music queued up.
The music is queued up, yes.
Murph, want to look good? Oh, you're crushing it.
Sure.
Anyway, this Hot or Not presented by Underdog Fantasy. It's our go-to fantasy betting app. We have been in there. We've been betting. We've been drafting. It's been a lot of fun. We got a little group together. Everyone who's in the Underdog Fantasy group, you can draft a team against us. You can bet against us for the week, the season, the day even. And, I don't know about you guys, but I love a good draft. The fantasy football draft and fantasy baseball draft, my two favorite days of the year, outside Christmas. And if you download the Underdog Fantasy app or go to their website and sign up and use our promo code 161boys, you'll get a $100 deposit match of Murph's money. And yeah, go do that. Go set it up. Go get your free money and come bet against us. It's a lot of fun.
Christmas, your favorite holiday?
It's the first thing in my head. I think Halloween probably is my favorite.
What?
I love a good Halloween.
I don't know anybody.
That's actually
top holiday.
How spooky, Damon.
No, I just love dressing up and going have a good time.
I will say, Damon does.
I take it very seriously.
Dress up. He was Tony Stark one year.
I was the most interesting man in the world the other year.
That was a hell of a read.
Damon, you're always
your best. That was your best one.
Top of the dome, baby.
Yeah, I know. I'm sitting here watching you rattle that off. Imagine how I feel.
You just said if Underdog Fantasy.
Well, if it sounds anything like that, then I'm in. Okay, who wants to do the hots and do the nuts?
I cannot.
I know them, and Luke's reading them. So.
I also have a list of Halloween costumes for years to come. By the way, like I plan these out.
Dude,
I make lists.
What are you doing next year?
I can't tell you. It's just,
no one's gonna.
All right, what are you doing in 3
June.
years?
The best
curse at him.
Yeah, the best part of it is the reveal. That's what gets me going.
That's what gets.
Give me one and don't tell me the year.
2028. Damon's gonna be a Velociraptor.
I was gonna be a beer server that walks around Yankee Stadium.
I like that.
What year is
That's
that?
not
Vendor.
Yeah, beer vendor.
Got to be careful with that though, because if somebody was making their list of who they're going to be in like 1989 and OJ's on the list for like 97, not great. Got to be careful.
Yeah, I got backups just in case. Just in case.
Oh, Murph, you're doing the hots for that one. Okay, ready? Cue the music.
So ready.
Marwin Gonzalez in the month of June, batting average 290, OBP 333, slugging 581, 2 homers, WRC plus of 159. Hot or not?
Hot. I'll buy it.
You buy it? Ron Marinaccio, after being called up on 521, he has 13 innings pitched, 0 earned runs, a FIP of 351, 14 strikeouts, left on base of 100%, never let anybody get in, and 1 hit allowed.
I don't know if he can keep that up, but
So
that's lovely.
Okay, but
I'll sell it, but
So
wow, how cool would that be? All right, continue.
Lucas Litke, Chandler's favorite player on the Yankees. Last 8 outings, 9 innings pitched, 1 earned run, FIP of 3.23, left on base 90%. Average exit velo is a low 82.6 miles per hour. Soft contact, Murph.
Selling that.
Kyle Higashioka, since hitting his first home run, 4 home runs after that, a slug of 783, WRC plus of 193, and an ISO of 522. For reference, MLB average is 140.
I'll buy that. He got the monkey off his back.
All right, so you bought Marwin,
Yep, I did.
sold Marinaccio, sold Licky, and bought Higgy. An even split, just like the
Guess
Astros
so.
series.
Just for reference, also that Higgy one was just a joke because that's been like 5 games. I just think it's been 7, but he's got 6 hits and 4 of them are home runs.
Trevino, I still would much rather see Trevino in the lineup. Don't get me wrong, because obviously, but I think now that Higgy got his home run out of the way, he's he'll be around. His bat's not. He's not going to be an automatic out like he was.
I think he's going to regress back, or not regress, but progress, I guess, back to what his career is, like a 200 hitter that hits some home runs.
I agree.
I don't know.
The reason I bought Marwin, if we can start there, is I feel like we should have the Marwin IKF debate.
Yes, we should.
We mentioned it beforehand. I'm not that impressed with IKF. I know, Chandler, you're not. And Marwin, make it a case to be in the lineup at the very least.
I mean, it's June 27th now. June is pretty much over. So in the month of June to date, a 290 batting average is pretty good. OBP of 333, like I mentioned before, 159 WRC plus is what I'm more fixated on. And I mean, it looks good. I mean, on base plus slugging, so his OPS for the month is 914. 914 is great. I don't know the defensive metrics off the top of my head, but I can tell you the eye test tells me that he doesn't boot balls that he should be making routine plays. I know Mike King probably doesn't like it when IKF is back there and he comes into the 10th inning and immediately gets a booter ball and then
throws the next one 20 feet wide of the third baseman.
So, yeah, I mean, the defensive metrics don't even look good for him. They don't. I mean, he was supposed to be this defensive wizard and a defensive first fielder, and
he's
literally just gonna have to deal with the offense, and he's not doing the defensive first thing, and the offense isn't really great. So
if you want, he's getting him as a defensive wizard shortstop is like getting Gary Sanchez for a defensive wizard catcher. I don't know if it's that extreme, but it's,
I think I agree. Knowing that now, knowing what like he's done now, but we had a lot higher expectations for IKF.
Yeah, I think it's a little different because
it's not that extreme, but it's just
Gold Glove before coming here,
at
so
third.
we assumed it. But we assume but Gary's got no Gold Gloves nowhere, so it's not the same because we got him assuming this Gold Glove standard of defense. It'd be like getting Gallo and he's coming and Gallo's playing great defense. Like somebody who has a Gold Glove in the tool bag, you're going to assume good defense, so you can't make the comparison. I know it's not super serious with the Gary comp.
No, it's not. But
I agree, like currently today, I agree because he looks like shit. He looks like
he has the whole defensively. I know he's outside of one really hot stretch offensively. He had like 3 weeks where he just couldn't get out. Outside of that, he's been borderline just fucking useless. I'm sorry. He has. And that's not me hating on him or anything like that just for the sake. I want to like him. I actually wanted to like him. He's doing all the right things. He's saying all the right things. He's just not that good. Like, I think at this point, I really don't understand why you're not giving guys like Cabrera, Peraza a shot. Like, I'm not even saying you need to go out and get some massive upgrade, but like those guys, Peraza is like heralded as a fucking defensive wizard, and I guarantee you he can do better than what's IKF got, like a 70 WRC plus, if that. I think it's in the 60s.
on the season.
Yeah. So I mean,
Look it up.
I think it's 73. It's either 65, 73, somewhere in there. Like, I know that Peraza can do that. I'm almost certain he can, and I know for a fucking fact he can play defense. I just don't. Why not give him a shot? But you don't want to mess with. That's the flip side. You don't want to mess with something that's working. So that's why I'm not.
I was just about to say that. I was like,
that's why I'm not like overly.
I do agree with you on all of that.
On
but
paper.
like, on paper, yes. But like, we're having a historical year, and I'm a little suspicious. And I feel like if we do change things up, what happens? It might be an upgrade. It might not. I don't know. But to Luke's point, like the eye test, I get very nervous every time the ball is hit in his general direction.
Even like every ball looks like it's a struggle for him.
Yeah,
every single one.
Even the one he cleans even the ones he fields cleanly.
Yeah,
it's just very nerve wracking.
It looks like every ball that maybe it's just me and maybe I'm just being hard on him, but it looks like every single ball hit to him looks like it's going to hit him square in the wrist.
Yeah,
every single one of them.
I will say that I'm looking at his outs above average. He got -4 this year.
Is that good?
No, it's not. What was the year that he won the Gold Glove?
Last year, maybe it was 2020.
It's a third base,
So
though, right?
Yeah, so
I'm pretty sure he played short in 2020.
It was 2020 because he beat out Gio, and we were like, who the fuck is this guy?
Even his Gold Glove was a shortened season, so you kind of throw that away. I mean, he had a 5 outs above average. Every other year, 2021, 2022, were both negative defensive outs above average. He's just not. He's not the defender we were promised. And when you look at his baseball savant page, Murph, there's a lot of blue. So it's not what you want to see. The only things he's red in are K percentage because he didn't strike out a ton, whiff percentage hand in hand, and sprint speed. So everything else is in like, I shit you not, 10th percentile and below.
Not great.
In barrel percentage, he's the first percentile. That's absolutely
he hasn't hit a home run since, and I know that hitting home runs is not the end all be all, and we need things that aren't just power hitters. But if you're a competent hitter at that level, you'll luck into a home run. Like, if you barrel up the baseball and you're a competent major league player, you'll eventually get one. He's not even close.
You're seeing it today too. Like the lineup tonight in the game. By the time you guys listen to this, since it's Monday before the game, you'll probably already have gotten a taste of a little bit of Marwin at shortstop today because he's in the lineup.
What's IKF's ground ball percentage? Do you have that handy?
Who has ground ball percentages handy?
I mean, you're looking at you have his barrel. You have his barrel percentage right in front of you.
Stat. That's like one you got to dig for.
Not really.
You got that handy?
I bet it's not.
I got it right here. It's 50.
There you go.
I don't know where to find that.
Fangraphs probably
50%. That's
it's a lot of balls on the ground.
A lot of balls in the ground. Not a lot in the
That's
air.
his career. That's about his career average. Actually, lower.
Just to bring it back to outs above average for a second. He's 7th percentile in outs above average. So again, is that good? No, that's not good. For defensive wonderkind.
I like how this is for the
is it wonderkind? I still can't.
Wonderkind. It's funny that this is the hot section for Marwin is just a shit on.
Well, it's relevant though because
it is relevant
because it's he's going to potentially take the position of Connor Falefa. So
he won't, but he should at least for the time being.
He's been hot in June. We just talked about it. Murph bought it. He's getting the start tonight. You know, maybe it's because of rest. Maybe it's because of they're noticing the same things we're noticing. Is that he's the hot bat. IKF isn't really playing good defense either.
He's hurt. IKF's like minorly hurt.
Has he been hurt?
He's
also,
April? No, it was what's it called? He got hurt against Houston, but he apparently he said he's available off the bench tonight. But it was the reason he's out of the lineup is because he was slightly injured against Houston.
That's what they'll tell you. But we all know the real reason.
The bottom line of it, and the reason I bought it, is that he needs to be. He's hitting well enough to be somewhere in the lineup, say 4 out of 7 days.
Are you talking about Marwin or IKF?
Marwin.
Okay.
And you're looking at where you're going to fit him in the lineup. Hicks is kind of figuring it out a little bit. Gallo's kind of figuring it out a little bit. You're going to want both of them in at least he's good defensively in the outfield. So it's where are you going to fit Marwin in? And seems like shortstop is the best fit.
And here's
because
the thing
of how IKF's
I like that
playing.
you mentioned Gallo because you could put Gallo in the outfield because he's exactly what we thought IKF was going to be, even when he's not hitting well. Is that you're going to get a Gold Glove defense, a true Gold Glove. He won it was it also COVID year?
No.
Okay,
he may have won more than one. I think he might have won twice.
He's actually a good fielder. It wasn't a fluke, even if it was in 2020.
He's not a good left fielder. I'll say that. He needs to be a right fielder.
No.
He's
I agree.
Judge is bona fide center.
That's what I'm getting at. Is that Judge has cemented himself as the everyday center fielder. Good, fine. Gallo needs to be playing right. If you're going to keep Gallo in the lineup, he needs to be playing right field, which is fine.
I agree.
And I'm totally fine with Hicks playing left.
And Hicks is going to be in left.
Give me a week or two before I say I'm fine with it. But as of right now, he's not doing anything. He had a bad strikeout yesterday, but
dude, he made a hell of a play in left field.
I was gonna say,
that was sweet.
He did.
Hicks.
I mean, look at the highlight reel. Isn't it kind of fun? I mean, that's I guess what kind of happens when you get no hit for 55 outs straight is that the highlights aren't necessarily offense until the walk-offs happen. But like Hicks had a great play in left. Gallo had a great play in right, hanging over the wall. Rizzo had that ridiculous play by the wall. I mean, the defense has been good, and the one person that was supposed to be good defensively is not. So it's kind of funny how you chalked it up before the season as like, oh, the Yankees are investing in defense. They got IKF, the defensive wonderkind, and then everybody else. I mean, we knew what Rizzo was defensively. We thought Hicks was going to start to regress, which he has, but it's nice to see him making some nice plays out there and being comfortable out there. Maybe after that walk-off, that's a part of just getting the swagger back a little bit. Hicks, and I'll say this, and I think we said this last episode, he can fucking pimp. He can pimp a home run. I think that does play into this. I think that one specific moment, I think can have, Hicks can definitely build off that, and I think hopefully we could see some better Hicks play all around just because of that. I guess we'll see.
We talked about it in the last episode, and I'm not going to dwell on it, but just to reiterate, we don't need him to be an all-star. Be serviceable. If Hicks is serviceable, I'm happy. Hit
15-15.
Not even. I don't even need that. I literally don't need that. Don't loaf to balls in the outfield and just put the ball in fucking play sometimes when there's runners on base. You don't have to get a hit every time, but if there's a guy on third, maybe. Yep. You love hitting the ball in the air, maybe it's a sac fly. I don't know. I'm not asking for the world. A sac fly here or there. Don't be lazy. I'm happy. That's it. That's all I want from Hicks.
Get on base too. But yeah, he does that.
Yeah, keep getting on base, especially if you're going to hit like 7, 8.
Yeah,
get on base.
All right. Anything on any deep dives you want to go into on? I mean, I guess the rest of them. Marwin, I think we want him to be starting. Higashioka, happy for him. Still, obviously want Trevino. Licky Marinaccio. Any closing comments before we get into the knots on those two? Because
I'll say a quick thing on each, and then I'll pass it to the rest of you to add anything you want. But because I put this together, so I saw a little more in depth. Obviously, the hots, I want to highlight the hot stuff. So there are negatives to both of them. Marinaccio is walking the fucking farm, so that is one thing I'm a little nervous about. That eventually, if he does start giving up more hits, or when he does, that they're going to cause some damage just because of how many people he's walking. In that time frame, I don't remember how many innings it was, like 19, something like that. But he's got 7 walks, not good.
Striking out a ton.
He's striking out a decent amount, but he's walking a lot of people, and that's going to bite him in the ass eventually. So, yeah, I think he's somewhere in between. But Licky, another one, he's giving up hits. He's walking people. He's due for to regress back, but that's fine. Whatever. We know what we're getting out of Licky. He's nothing more than the mop-up guy, unless the bullpen's just taxed. So, you know what? Whatever.
Dude, I mean, I know this isn't the end all be all, but I'm looking at Licky's baseball savant. His sabers are good. His fastball spin 99th percentile. I mean, these are the reasons that we're probably went after Licky in the first place, and he's up on the roster. Is that his fastball spin 99th percentile, average exit velocity is 98th percentile, hard hit percentage 98th percentile, barrel percentage. He's getting soft contact. He's got a lot of spin. He's got a heavy ball.
Good word.
He's got a low velocity. He's in the 3rd percentile, but he's got I don't know. He's not missing bats, but he's getting soft contact, and obviously that could be a bugaboo for him because a lot of people can hit homers off him, but I think he's been a little bit better than people are, or this podcast specifically has been shitting at him for. He's 35 years old, so I'm not going to expect the world from him or a resurgence of Lucas Licky to become this all-star caliber pitcher. But you never know. Could age like fine.
I feel like he's just kind of as good as he can be right now. So that's why I'm selling it. Like, it's great that he's pitching this well, and it really matters. The whole bullpen looks, the whole bullpen is really performing better than expectations, I'd say. Those that are healthy, minus Loaizaga and Chapman, and he's into that, which is great. But, I'm not surprised if he slips down from that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, I feel like this is the best. This is like the best form we're gonna see, and which is fine. It's good for us right now. Hopefully, he goes through some ups and downs, and the ups are when it matters, and come playoff time. And like he's a very streaky type of pitcher, so
he's not going to get innings. He's not going to get innings in the playoffs.
Just like, I hope
he will.
Hope the good stuff happens when it matters.
Yeah,
thank you, Beltran.
He will not.
I hope when he pitches the ball, the hitter misses and it's an out.
Can we put Beltran on the not list, like a little late one? He literally, this is a direct quote from him. He's like, well, he put the ball on the ground and the shortstop ran over, caught the ball, and then he threw it across and the first baseman stretched and caught it, and they got him out. It's like, thanks, man. That's some fucking hard-hitting analysis, Carlos. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
he's bad. On the radio.
He's supposed to be the color guy. Yeah, I was gonna say he's almost announcing the game to
Where's Maben?
A deaf, a blind person.
He only signed like an 80-something game contract. I think it was like 57, which sucks.
I love Maben.
Man. He's awesome.
He needs to come back more.
Beltran, dude.
I feel like him and Maben were like two in a test flight, and they don't
screen these guys. They're just like, hey, you're Carlos Beltran. You're good at baseball. Come be a commentator.
Dude, Beltran. I think Beltran would have kissed Altuve this weekend if he could. I heard him talk about Jose Altuve lifting 100-pound dumbbells at least twice a game, all 4 games.
He was on the cheating team, so he's anything to change.
So was Maben though, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, but maybe
that's kind of interesting.
But no,
I know that's just kind of interesting that 2 of our booth guys.
Beltran literally invented the cheating system.
Are we cheating now?
Yeah,
our booth relaying things.
I don't care if we are.
Our booth does use cameras, so
we do.
Yep.
And microphones.
That's a Beltran analysis right there.
All right. You want to go to the knots?
Sure.
Who's doing the knots?
Murph is.
All right.
Murph just did the hots.
I just did the hots. Damon's doing the knots.
Damon's doing the.
I guess I will. Knots. Sure. Let's go for it.
Leading off in the knots, since coming off the IL on June 3rd, Josh Donaldson has 18 games played. He's batting 203 in that time span. His OBP 275, slug 304 for an OPS of 579, WRC plus of 67, K percentage of 32%, and only 1 home run.
So
Nestor Cortez over the last 4. This is tough to put on this list. You don't want to see this.
Man. 19
innings pitched, 12 earned runs, 6.23 FIP, 284 homers per 9, 568 ERA, 137 WHIP, and a 273 batting average against.
It's very tough, but I'm also going to sell.
Sell?
Yes.
Meaning you think he's going to come back?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what the sell means.
Just want to confirm.
It's taken us 2 years to figure this out, but yes.
I just want to confirm for the listeners at home.
The selling is that yes.
Jameson Taillon, last 4, post-perfect game bid, 20 innings pitched, 13 earned runs, 4.55 FIP, 1.77 homers per 9, 575 ERA, 172 WHIP, and a 348 batting average against.
I'm also going to sell for the same reasons as Nestor, which I'll get into.
And this one's got a just for laughs. Over the last 13 games, Aaron Judge, batting 184, 273 OBP, 449 slug for a 722 OPS, 101 WRC plus, 23.6% K percentage. Only got 19 mil in arbitration instead of 21, so that can count against him
What
as well
a loser.
on the not list. And obviously, this is just for laughs because he did hit the 2 walk-offs in this series. He has 3 for the year, and he's Aaron Judge, and he's allowed this kind of skid, so to speak. Which
But
is
a 2-game skid, yeah,
which he
we'll allow
still
it.
has a 101 WRC plus, which is still 1% above average. So obviously, this is a sell as well. Damon, you selling the house?
Selling the house.
So sold everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Josh
We don't
Donaldson,
see that too
Nestor
often.
Cortez, Jameson Taillon, Aaron Judge. And I get it. I get why you're going to sell this because this is a team that's obviously.
Well, I think they're all for similar reasons. I think that's why.
What are those
Elaborate.
reasons?
So let's get into Nestor and JMO first. I think those are obviously the 2 most similar. Like, these guys have had very productive years up until this point. And I mean, we were talking about Nestor being like our ace starting in the All-Star game like 2 weeks ago. And yes, he's had 3 games that weren't amazing. I know he's not Garrett Cole, so we can't just be like, oh, he has 3 games, but he's still Garrett Cole, or he's still like, he doesn't have that caliber to really say that. Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, he's done way too much positive things for us recently that I cannot get behind him just being terrible the rest of the year.
Can I ask this question?
Sure can.
So the stats in terms of just innings pitched versus earned runs look very similar. When you dive a little bit into, I mean, everything looks pretty similar. When you compare Taillon to Nestor,
Yeah.
if I could ask the group, who, if any, I mean, not if any, who are you more worried about in terms of just who are you more worried about? This is a very simple question. Nestor Cortez or Jameson Taillon? These are both from the last 4.
Nestor.
I was a Nestor.
He doesn't have the innings. He doesn't in his career have the innings load that he is throwing now. I think mix the, one, people seeing him, obviously. He's starting to see these teams 2-3 times in a season. And 2, naturally fatigue and stuff like that. He's never thrown this volume before. So I think he'll be fine. I think that he's obviously going to come back down to earth. He's not going to win a Cy Young, but I think the potential is still there to be a high-end mid-rotation arm at the worst. Like, I think that he's going to be fine. I really do. I just don't. I think that it was fun to ride the wave while it was happening, but I don't think that ace Nestor Cortez is a thing. And I honestly think, I guess this could be a good segue, not permanently because you guys need to go, but I think that this could be something to look at once, all these rumors are coming out that the Yankees are really looking hard to add a bona fide, top end arm at the deadline and push all the chips in. And I think that if they do, that conversation of Nestor being pushed back to maybe not necessarily a full-time bullpen role, but a long reliever that's throwing 3 or 4 innings could be back on the table if you go out and get a Luis Castillo or a Frankie Montas.
I don't want Castillo. I know that rumor was floating
I don't either.
around.
I really don't like
Why? I don't. He hasn't been good for 2 or 3 years. So his name's always floating around in the rumor mill. He doesn't get the pants moving. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but going back to Nestor, I feel like we've been riding the wave for a while. I'm not going to say that he's completely gone back down to earth. I mean, it's only been 3 games. I'm still going to give him the benefit of the doubt to get back on it. His pitching style is very unique, and he like thrives on these like awkward deliveries, making the hitter guess, and doing these like quirky things that people really haven't seen before. And because of that, it takes a little bit longer for these hitters to adjust to it. And I feel like they saw him last year, they're seeing him this year, and it's getting to the point where they're seeing him for a couple more times, and they're getting used to his delivery, they're getting used to the quirkiness, and people are starting to figure it out. And
what do you think the odds are that Nestor turns into a pumpkin?
10%, maybe.
I can't sit here and lie and say that I'm not worried about it.
I'm gonna say like,
because at the end of the day,
15%.
I've been shocked every time he goes out there and he twirls a gem. And I no matter how long he's been doing it for, I know he's been doing it for like a year and a half at this point. I'm still gonna be shocked every time. And when things like the recent 4 games happen, I'm not shocked by it. And I don't know if he'll ever prove that to me, which I guess I'll always have that. And maybe it's because he's Nestor Cortez and he doesn't have the pedigree. Maybe it's because he's just a short guy who throws slow. Like
that's the thing. But that's the thing.
Carries bubble
like
gum everywhere.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's just a funny dude.
But because he only throws 92, and if he has an off day control wise, he's fucked. Yeah, they're just hanging pitches. They're getting on him.
Exactly. So that's
and there's no way. Yeah, you need to be on.
The MLB can have ridiculously bad stuff, but you still might miss bats because they're still swinging at it. So
like Garrett Cole can have an off day.
Even on a bad day, you might miss bats.
Yeah.
Nestor Cortez on a bad day, he has to be perfect. That's the thing. He has to always be perfect.
Yeah.
And he can't always be perfect.
Yeah, and it's tough. So
like
that's
life.
why it's deep, man. But yeah,
Damon,
go ahead, Murph.
Damon, and I had the same concerns you did, and I was going to actually bring the same thing up about the funky delivery and that sort of thing. And maybe these teams we're seeing a couple times are starting to get to him. Good news is if what Chandler said happens and we bring in, I also think Frankie Montas over Luis Castillo. But if we bring in either of them and put Nestor in that role, the goal there would be to sort of mitigate that and let him be the funky guy here and there and only have to see the order one time.
Yeah.
And hopefully that would adjust if that's the case, but who knows?
Yeah. And then going back to JMO a little bit, the guy's been around for a little bit longer than Nestor. He's more of a, for lack of better words, traditional type of kind of pitcher. And I feel like he's more of a, we know what we're going to get out of him, and we're never really expecting way too much out of the guy. And if he goes out there and does his job each day, then I'm happy. And I feel like we were kind of just blinded by the Nestor situation where he was throwing potential no-hitters through 7 innings 3 or 4 times this year already. And then he goes out there and has a decent game or a below-average game. We're all freaking out. So I think we're kind of blinded by that a little bit, blinded by the start of, he had like a 1 ERA. It's tough to kind of just go back and look at everything and be like, oh, he's falling apart.
Another question.
Another answer.
Is the Nestor Cy Young bid completely off the table?
No, I mean, not technically, but
no, in your eyes.
I don't think it's
going to happen.
I don't think it's changed for me. I think I'm still in the same.
You never thought it could happen?
I always thought it could, but I never thought it was likely. I still don't think it's likely. I thought it would take just something incredible, and I still think that it's not like
the percentage chance that he can actually make it happen.
10-15%.
Yeah, I don't think it's happening.
No, it's not going. It never was.
Well, the more
he would need to be
was the
completely
All-Star game
lights out,
but that's not happening either.
Yeah, well, for the All-Star game, he would have only needed to have 2 or 3 more dominant starts to win a Cy Young. He needed 17.
It's pretty bad timing for him to get on the All-Star bump. McClanahan's been
McClanahan's good.
Pretty unbelievable.
For him to even be in the conversation for Cy Young, he would need to be that like May form for the entire year. I just don't see that
He's
happening.
not going to
But
do that.
on McClanahan, continue.
Oh, did you see that list he was a part of? It was like innings pitched, ERA, and strikeouts list in MLB history. It was like Jose Fernandez, Jacob deGrom, Shane McClanahan, and like 2 others. I was like, this is fucking ridiculous, man. He's good. He scares me a lot.
Yeah. So switching a little bit from the pitching, Donaldson was also on this list. Damon sold this. Damon sold all of it. So you're not worried about Josh Donaldson, even though
I'm very worried.
I know because I know Chandler is, and I wanted to put one additional piece of information in there before we continue to talk about this. Is we're approaching the halfway mark of the season right now. Josh Donaldson has a 704 OPS. That
do you have his numbers against righties? I put it in there too. It's like the next picture over. If you put your phone down already. His numbers against righties, that's another thing that concerns me. I think at this point too, I'm not saying bench Josh Johnson, but the days that he's DHing, I wouldn't hate to see Matt Carpenter getting those that role. I just, at least until he sorts it out. And if you do buy it that he's going to come back to form, fine. And there's plenty of reason to. He's done it for his entire career. Not start off slow, but you know what I mean. He's been a productive player for a long time now. A very, very long time. He's got a great fucking mullet. But I would not hate to see Matt Carpenter get those starts against righties for a little bit. And not in the field. I'm just saying the days that he's DHing. So, every few days.
Speaking of Matt Carpenter, can you believe they intentionally walked him to get to DJ, who ended up working out, but I just cannot believe that. I know they're doing the lefty righty thing, and I
imagine if somebody told you that in April.
No, I know. That's ridiculous. Imagine if somebody literally told you, the game's on the line, I'm going to intentionally walk Matt Carpenter.
First of all, Matt Carpenter's going to be in the lineup.
DJ LeMahieu. Yeah. Granted, I mean, before the season started, we're coming off a season where DJ wasn't awesome. Like,
still, either way, he's still DJ LeMahieu.
Maybe I would buy the trend, but like, also Matt Carpenter wasn't on the team at the time, so I would be very, very shocked.
But even then, he was the worst hitter in baseball a year ago.
That's true. So the Donaldson, you're not worried at all, David?
At all is no. I'm a little worried, but
you're optimistic that he'll turn.
But I'm still optimistic. Yes,
because for basically the majority of June, he's been a Mendoza hitter, well below at the average in WRC plus. Only one homer for a person who's supposed to be the bringer of rain. I have a weird. See, Nestor versus him in terms of confidence. I have a weird confidence in Josh Donaldson. Just
Me
because
too. That's why.
Maybe it's not weird. Maybe this is exactly why I just figured it out. Light bulb. It's because Josh Donaldson has the pedigree. That's it, and Nestor Cortez does not. So, like intrinsic value for the guy going forward, I think Donaldson will figure it out. He's a professional hitter. So I think even these stats, cumulative stats, don't really tell you but. In one moment, can Josh Johnson figure out and get a walk-off? Yeah, he can.
He comes up in big situations, and he does the job when the situation comes around. That's another reason why I'm more confident in him, because it doesn't even have to be a late-inning situation. It could be, bottom of the first inning, and there's a guy on third base with no outs when he hits a fly ball and gets the run in.
I just love this team. This team has such a cast of characters, like Josh Donaldson, like that specific archetype of a player, the grizzly, gritty veteron on the hot corner who plays good defense. Just an asshole person. But then
did you see him bat flip and hit the catcher in the face the other day?
All right, that's it for the Knots. Let's do a little preview of the A's series, because the A's are the next team the Yankees are playing right now. We're about to watch the first game. It's actually funny because they may potentially be the Vegas A's pretty soon. That's probably really fun for the Athletics fans. Not fun for me, honestly, though, because Murph and I have both been to this stadium, and I think, like Murph said, it has a lot of character. So I don't know. I think it's always funny having the A's be in Oakland, because I feel like that might take away from the money ball. Like, what do they become? Do they become the Vegas A's where they have boatloads of money now? Like, that's not fun.
Vegas Aces, easy switch. But
the Vegas A's, that's a WNBA.
Yeah. Murph. Well, I was thinking it's an easy move when you're moving to Vegas. It makes sense. But anyway, I agree with you. Charming stadium, whatever. As much of a shithole as it is, but I happened to be watching the day game. I think it was last week where Montas almost threw a no-hitter against the Marlins, and there were quite literally like maybe 1,500 people there.
Did you see it? They broke the record for the least amount of attendance. It was like they literally had like 1,000 people there.
I mean, here's the thing. It makes total sense why they would move, but I just feel like for the love of baseball and how can you not be romantic about baseball, that whole thing with one of our favorite movies, it's just like baseball's better when the A's are
It's a dead franchise.
It's more fun when there's the narrative.
They're not going to be able to keep the lights on for another year. Like, actually, they're only going to be able to play day games. They only get 100 fucking people a game.
California has 4 teams.
It's sad, dude. I think they need to move, honestly. I think it would be great for baseball.
So would the Rays just be the next thing? Are the Rays potentially moving too?
I think
I like when there's poor teams.
There was like the Montreal thing.
50 feet of crap or whatever they say, and then there's us. I like when that happens.
There's still going to be poor teams.
I know. I'm just saying.
There's 50 piles of crap.
Yeah, but they're the below 50 feet of crap. I don't know. So with all that being said, they're a dead franchise. They suck. If we don't sweep this series, then we got bigger problems. I hope the offense. This is a pretty good series to just have the offense come alive in. So I'm excited for that. That's why I'm not as worried about the offense because, you know, you're not going to be facing the second best team in the league for the entire season. And this could be another little springboard similar to an Orioles series of sorts to get the offense mojo back.
God, we're minus 304 tonight. That's ridiculous.
Yep. It's good because you're playing a low end team. Like compared to playing the Orioles, the stakes are a little bit lower because it's not a division game. You know, we just went through a grueling schedule, but there's one of two things can happen. It can be get the offense back on track because you're playing the A's, or it can be finally we're not playing a top team in the MLB, let the foot off the gas, and then all of a sudden we're looking at dropping 2 out of 3 to the A's, going back to play Houston, and it's like, oh shit. You know, our episode on Thursday
to drop one too because you got Sears making his second ever start against Montas. So
yeah. I'll be honest, I did not take this bet, but I'm sure that some MLB bettors that have no vested interest in the Yankees are probably taking the A's, if not tonight, then in one of the other games, given how much the line is. So
I would.
And given
seems like a trap.
But we have another tough stretch after this, so you can't really afford to take these 3 games off. I mean, then we go to Houston, to Cleveland. And then
Houston's only 1 game, though, right?
Houston, yeah, but you're still going to Houston, then going back to Cleveland, who they're no slouches. They've been pretty good. Last I saw, they were tied for first. I think they got swept by the Red Sox, but still,
they're up and down with Minnesota.
Yeah, then we're going to Pittsburgh for 2, which should be easy. But then you're going to Boston for 4.
Which we haven't talked about Boston this episode yet. It's kind of wild. They're in second place now. They've been just winning a ton of games.
They've been quietly climbing the ranks.
Because I mean, like it's quiet because they were so bad for a portion of time, and they were tied with like the Orioles for the bottom of the AL East, and now they've been climbing back. I mean, it's not a shock because we've been saying these graphics where it's like, oh, the Red Sox have won 23 they've won 23 and like 2 in the last whatever, and the Yankees still gained 2 games on them in the rankings. Like, we've been saying that for a while, and I guess it's no secret that they've been playing well. We've been playing just a hair better, but we also didn't have a hole to dig out of. They've dug out of that hole successfully, which is good, and we know that their offense is great. We know that their pitching usually isn't great and probably won't be great.
Yeah.
So I guess good for them. That's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun
watching that dogfight for the rest of the teams in the AL East that make the playoffs, hopefully. I hope that we maintain our lead and are able to watch them kick the shit out of each other like we assumed every team in the AL East was going to have to go through, is that just everybody's going to beat up on each other, and then that's going to be that. But
we have to win the East. With the way the playoffs are set up and with the teams behind us, you have to win the East. And I know we're off to an awesome start, and we're probably a massive favorite, but collapses happen. I don't think that anybody here should be writing it off yet. Like, oh yeah, we won the East. Now let's look ahead to October. That's I've seen a lot of that. There's a difference between being optimistic and then just be like, okay, so we took care of the East. And no. We should all take every game like it's a playoff game, because if you lose the East, you are fighting a very uphill battle to get in.
And Toronto has likely 4 All-Stars in their lineup, plus 2 All-Star caliber pitchers in Manoah and Gosman. So, I mean, Kirk likely an All-Star.
Cy Young.
Exactly. And then, Guerrero, I believe it was Bichette, and then Springer is in the mix in the outfield. So like that's a team that has 4 All-Stars on it this year. Manoah, who's in the contention for a Cy Young, and Gausman, who is also up there. So they're a very good team.
Dude,
they also just signed Romo. Not that matters. But.
look at the Red Sox too. You got Devers, Bogarts, and Martinez, and they're all batting.
We all know what these teams are.
I know, but they're like 2, 3, and 4 in batting average in the AL right now.
We knew this
story.
Yes, but like I know, but it's fucking insane that those 3 guys are in the top of like every hitting category that's out there right now.
Yeah, we know.
Okay, maybe some people don't.
I mean, if they didn't,
the Yankees don't have 3 people on the top of every category.
The fact that a team has that many players though and is in 3rd place in the division,
yeah, it is crazy.
In Toronto, is crazy. And then the Rays are no slouch either.
They don't have Matt Carpenter. That's why.
It's true.
Yeah, I guess that is.
Don't have the mustaches. Although I almost put the mustaches on the not list. Cortez, Gallo.
Gallo shaved.
We should take a look at those.
Licky's got his mustache though. He's on the hots.
That's true.
So does Marwin shaved his, I think.
Marwin shaved his too, yeah.
I don't know.
I think gave up too early on that, I think.
Definitely something we need to keep an eye on. Mustache tracker.
Yeah.
Clearly this episode is going south fast, so we're going to end
this says
here.
You.
Go listen. Goodbye. We'll end it there. Oh my God, we're funny. In my brain, I was saying like go check out like the Patreon for this exclusive talk about mustaches, but we don't have to.
All right, I'm gonna go grab some grub and then I'll